Today we're going to be writing your first Playwright test from scratch. No prior automation experience is required. This video is going to focus on setting up and learning how to use Playwright. In an upcoming video, I'll do the same exercise in 3 different ways using AI tools. By the end of this video, you'll know how to install Playwright, write a test against a real application, run it, and understand exactly what's happening in the code. All of these foundational skills are important before generating AI automated code so that you can review and understand what the AI is outputting. This is going to make your prompts 100% better, and you'll be able to quickly and confidently evaluate the output. Let's get started. All right, let's do some explanations here. That means let's look at some slides. This will only take a second, so bear with me. First of all, you might ask, what is Playwright? Playwright is a test automation framework. That means it's a tool that lets you write code that controls a web browser automatically. You can click buttons, fill in forms, navigate between pages, and check that the page shows the right content, all without touching the mouse. Here's how it works. You write test code in JavaScript or TypeScript. Playwright takes that code and sends commands directly to a browser. The browser does what you told it to do and tells you if the test passed or failed. Let's compare Playwright with other popular automation tools. You can see that Playwright has browser support of Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge. It's very fast. It has auto-wait mechanisms, multi-tab support, and supports these languages. Selenium is the old goat, which supports Chrome, Firefox, Safari, and Edge. It's moderately fast. It doesn't support auto-waits. It does support multi-tabs, and it supports most languages. Selenium is the most known framework known to man because it's kind of where it's all started, but writing tests in Selenium these days is just like saying I'm writing my website in JavaScript and HTML. There's better ways to do it. The third option that you probably heard of is Cypress. It supports Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. It's still fast. It does auto waits, but it does not support multi-tabs. So you cannot test in one tab and then open another tab and continue your test. You cannot test in one window and open another window and continue your test. You can only do one at a time. Language support is JS and TS only. Let's look at some key concepts here. So a test is a single automated scenario. So for example, a user can log in with valid credentials. A locator is instructions for finding an element on a page. This is going to be things like IDs, classes, ARIA attributes, and other CSS selectors. Assertions are checks that verify expected behavior. So if you fill out a form and submit it, you should get a success message. Your assertion would be that you checked to make sure that you got that success message. And last here is fixture. This is a pre-configured setup that runs before each test. Playwright gives you a page fixture. That's a fresh browser tab. Here's a quick simple snippet of a test. You can see there's a test at the top. In quotes is going to be the test name. After that is async because all of Playwright is asynchronous. So whenever you do an action, you're going to have to wait for the next action to complete. Inside of those curly braces is page. That's the fixture that we talked about a second ago. And this test is just doing a simple thing. It's navigating to a URL. It's filling in a username, it's clicking the submit button, and it's verifying that a success message appears. This is the basic pattern that you're going to see for every single test. For this video, I'm going to be using my University Portal test app. You can find it on my GitHub repo. I'll paste the link in the description. On the repo, you can see the instructions for installing. So basically, you need to clone this repo, do npm install, and then finally run npm run dev, and then that'll start up your server right here. And you can see that it's localhost 5173. This application has a full front end and a back end plus a database. So it's a full stack app. Okay, next thing that you're going to need to do is open up Visual Studio Code or your IDE of choice. You can use pretty much whatever you want, but I'm using Visual Studio Code. So that's the easiest way if you want to follow along with me. I've opened a new folder. It's an empty folder. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the terminal and we're going to type in the command npm space init space playwright at latest. Go ahead and hit enter. All right, so you're going to get a questionnaire at the bottom. So it's going to ask you what language you want to do. You can choose TypeScript or JavaScript here. I'm going to choose TypeScript for this lesson. Where do you want to put your test? Usually you will just accept the default of the test folder. So hit enter. Add a GitHub Actions workflow. I'm going to choose no for this one. And the next question is install the Playwright browsers. So you're going to need to install these browsers in order for your test to run. So I'm going to hit true. Right now it's going to install all the packages, set up everything. It's going to create some placeholder tests for you. And when it's done, it says happy hacking. I'm not sure why it says happy hacking because we're not hacking, we're writing automated tests, but whatever. And let's look at what it's done. So we have a node modules folder, which is all of our components that were installed just a second ago. It created a test folder and it gave us an example spec. You can see there's a couple tests within the spec. It generated a git ignore file, which is good so that we can ignore files that don't need to be pushed up to the repository. We have our package lock and package.json file. Package lock is just a history of what version you currently have installed from your packages. And then the package.json file is the blueprint of what needs to be installed. So if somebody were to download this repo that you just created and run npm install, it will install all of the versions and modules that you have defined here. And finally, it's created a Playwright config file. So this is what controls the configuration of your Playwright test. Right now, it's pretty bare bones, but you can scroll through here and see the different options if you want to right now. Let's do one more command, and that's going to be git space init. This will initialize your project as a git repo. You should now see on the left, if you're using Visual Studio Code in the source control, it's found all of your changes. I'm just going to go ahead and click stage all changes and say initial setup and click commit. I like to do this so that way I can see exactly what files have changed while I'm working on things. So just in case I make a mistake and want to go back in time and history, I can use git and easily do that. Let's go back into our Playwright config right now, and let's scroll through here and notice that in the use section, there's a part that is commented out that says base URL localhost 3000. Let's go ahead and uncomment that out, and let's go look at our university app again. So this is localhost 5173. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to replace inside the quotes here and paste that. So this is our base URL. So anytime we try to navigate to our web page, it's going to use this base URL as the URL that it navigates to. You can see on the line above in the comment, it says base URL to use in actions like await.goto. So if you just did await page.goto, it will go to base URL of localhost 5173. Okay, let's go ahead and create our first test. So I'll right click on test and choose new file. I'll call this file student reg.spec.ts. Spec is just what we call test files. So each of the test files will be specs. And inside of this file, the first thing we're going to want to do is import test and expect from Playwright test. So this line is just importing the test and expect functions from Playwright. Test is how you actually run your tests, and expect is for your assertions. The next thing we're going to do is add this code block. So it's going to start with test, followed by parentheses. And then inside the quotes is going to be the name of your test. So my test is called students can register with valid information. This is going to be followed by a comma, a sync, another pair of parentheses, curly braces, and then page. After that, you're going to get an arrow, another curly brace, and finish off your parentheses here. Inside of this block is where you're going to write your actual test steps and assertions. Looking at this, the description should explain what behavior we're testing. The sync keyword means this function uses asynchronous operations, and the page is the fixture I mentioned earlier. Playwright gives us a fresh browser tab every time we have this fixture displaying on our test. Let's add a new line here, and that's going to be await page.goto, parentheses, quotes, /. When you have a sync, you always have to have a wait, and then you're using our page.goto function. So goto is going to navigate to a URL, and our URL is just going to be / because we've already defined our base URL in our config file. So go ahead and save this, and let's actually run this as is. In the terminal, write the command npx space playwright space test space --UI. Go ahead and hit enter. This is going to run the Playwright test in interactive mode, so you can actually see what's happening. So let's find our test file. It's the student reg spec.ts, and it has one test inside of it. You can see the example test that was created by Playwright up here. Let's click on this one and click on the play button. It's going to be super fast because all it's doing is loading the browser. It's marking the test as passed because we didn't ask it to check for anything, and the test ran, so it passed by default. But you can see that in the window, we have our website that we defined in the base URL loaded up here. We'll go over these panels more in a second when we have more to look at, but for right now, we've confirmed that our website is loading in our test. Okay, let's go to our university app. So when you first load it up, it's going to look like this. It's going to have a login screen. It doesn't ask for a password, but it does ask for an email and a role. So it should be pre-filled for you with jane.doe@example.edu. If you don't see that, you can see the student and instructor role emails are down below here. So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to fill this, select this, and then sign in. So in order to do that, we need to right click, inspect, and I'll pull this down a little bit, and then I'll right click, inspect once more, and then it should jump to the line that you inspected. When I'm hovering my mouse over the DOM here in the console, you can see that this line here is the line for the email field. The easiest way to build the locator for this is to copy the selector. So if I right click on this, copy selector, and then go back to here, I'm going to do await page.fill, do parentheses, and do quotes, and paste in the selector that you just copied. So this is what mine looks like. It's going to be very long and ugly because we're not using a good selector. There's ways to get better ones, but for this, we're just going to do it really quickly and just paste in whatever was given to us. So you can see that we're having an error on fill right now because we need two things. The first part is the selector, and the second part is the value that you want to fill. So let's put a comma after our quotes there, and then put new quotes, and we need to put in a value. The value we want to add is the email. So instead of using janedoe@example.edu, I'm going to do ada@university.edu. I'm going to copy that email. Let's go back to our code and paste that in there. So our test is now going to go to the page, and then it's going to fill that field with that value. Let's go ahead and go back to UI mode and let's run this test again. So now you might not see that our field was filled in. Notice at the top here, there are different tabs that says action, before, and after. Action is the thing that is being worked on. So you can see it's doing something with this field. Before is what happens before the action is completed, and after is what happens after the action is completed. So when you click on after, you can see the email address that we applied is actually there. Also look in this left side here, you can see the history of the things that happen. So the first one was navigating to /, which was the base URL, and then filling in the email. So now you can go and trace each step of your history to see what exactly happened in your test. Since we know this filling of the email works, let's go on to this role. So we'll follow the same procedure. So let's inspect this first, and you can see that this is a select with two options. So on the select, let's right click and copy selector, go back to our test. We're going to do await page, but this time we're not going to do fill because we're not filling in a field. We need to open the drop down and then select a value. So we'll do a click, and this time we only need to give one thing here, and that's the selector, because when you click something, that's all that happens is you click it and then it's done. You're not passing in any values. Let's save this and run it. Okay, so let's go down to the click option here. So you can see that the action here is clicking on this item here. It's not displaying the drop down for some reason, but let's see if it actually is. Sometimes this view doesn't show you every little detail, but let's do the next step and see if we can capture that. So we'll do another await page dot click and then put in quotes here, and we need to grab this instructor here. So you can see that in here, there's an option value. I'll just copy that selector and go back here and paste that in, save that. And now let's run this again. The fact that it's taking longer to actually finish means that there's something wrong with one of the steps. So as we saw in the previous step, that the click didn't actually open the drop down here, but we're going to need to fix that somehow. So it looks like we're having trouble actually opening the drop down using Playwright, which can happen sometimes. And that's why our test took longer. It actually failed because it was not able to select the option that we're choosing. So let's go with a different approach. Let's go back to here, and I'm going to delete these two steps. And instead, Playwright has a built-in select option function that you can use. So it's going to be await page.select option. In quotes, you're going to put select, and then inside of the curly braces, you're going to put label :instructor inside of quotes. This will find the select, and then it will find the label for instructor and select it. Let's try this. Run this test again. Okay, it looks like it's done. And you can see that the final step, we have instructor here. Let's do the before, it's student, and then after, it's instructor. So this is a very important thing to know, is that when you're doing UI automation, there's multiple ways that you can approach a problem. Just going by the one that you choose first is not always going to give you the solution, no matter how hard you try. Always search to see if there's a different way to do it. Okay, on this login form, we need to do one more thing, and that's click on the sign in button. Let's go ahead and right click, inspect, and let's grab the selector. So copy selector, go back to our code, and then do await page dot click in quotes. Put in that selector that you copied, save it, and let's run it. Okay, and you can see that it did a click on this option and then it finished. It didn't wait for the page to actually load. So let's see what happens when we actually click on the sign in button. So let's change this to our instructor here, and then make sure the role is instructor. Click on sign in, and it looks like it takes us over here. So let's do an assertion to make sure that we actually logged in, because right now from our test, we can't tell. So we clicked on something at the end there, but we don't know if we actually successfully logged in. So on here, you can see that there's a section up here that says instructor with the instructor email there. I'll use that as the anchor for telling me that I was able to log in. So let's do our inspect, and let's take a peek at this. So let's copy selector, and let's go back to our test. And this time we're going to do an assertion here. So it's going to be await expect, which is our keyword for assertion. And then we're going to need to do page.locator. And inside of there, we're going to do quotes and paste. We'll go to the very end and we'll type in .to contain text. Inside of these parentheses, we're going to need to give it the text that we want it to check for. So the text is going to be this email here. Let's take a look at this. We're doing await expect, which is our assertion. We're passing in the locator, which is that. And then we're doing a function that says to contain text. So we need to find this text inside of this locator. Let's go ahead and run this. Okay, we have a passing test, so that means our assertion passed. So you can see on our last step here, we had click, but it didn't actually navigate to the next step in our view. But you can see in our assertion that we actually did navigate. So this assertion didn't do any navigation step, but it waited for this locator to be in view. you can see the locator is highlighted here and it found the text that we were asking for. So if you do before and you do after, you can see what happened here. It's interesting. You can actually see in the before that we couldn't see with our human eyes that courses actually takes a second or a millisecond to load. So it had a loading step, and then after it loaded all the courses. So this is what we're talking about auto waiting. So Playwright auto waits for something to happen. So it's smart enough to know that it needs to wait for something to be visible or something to be ready before it tries to do the action. So from our click, it waited for this page to be fully loaded and then did the assertion. That was a quick introduction on how to set up Playwright and write tests manually. To write additional tests, you just have to follow the same pattern over and over again. It's not too hard. Even if you don't know how to code, I think you'll be able to follow the patterns and be able to figure out how to create your tests. If you want to get more detailed instructions on how to write Playwright tests, I have a full course here on my website. You can go to glitchitsystem.com, look for this orange icon. If you don't see it on the homepage, go to courses and you'll find Playwright testing with JavaScript 0 to hero. As always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel and we really appreciate it. Until next time, see ya.